tired to me. Tomas O'Shea was trying to catch up with Jeremy Connie that time, no chance of it.
Bernard Brogan sends that over and brings them back to within 2.
Well, there it is. This is the foul coming up, just pulled to the ground by Peter Crowley.
Mark Griffin has an issue. They're going to have to bring on a blood sub for the Kerry fullback. The first time in a while that the Dublin fans have been heard singing at that volume.
It's Owen Brosnan.
Owen Brosnan for Mark Griffin for a little while. Brendan Keeley gets the ball back in play towards Anthony Marr. Dennis Bastick got hands on that. Jack McCaffrey, here he goes, and listen to the roar around the place. McCaffrey is going to need some help. He has it in the shape of Paddy Andrews. Paul Mannion's looking for it. Andrews has got space, takes on the shot. Back to within 1. They've got the last 3 points of this All-Ireland semi-final. And the next 10 minutes of this, absolutely crucial. Kerry lead by 1.
Well, we've a game now, haven't we? The ball breaks, and again you can see Jack McCaffrey's extra bit of pace gets him onto the ball. This is a key period now for the Kingdom. They have to consolidate and try and slow it down some way or other.
They've put a huge effort into getting themselves into this position, Kerry, on the scoreboard. All those periods of holding onto the ball, will they take their toll as the minutes tick away? Dublin have it off Keeley's kick-out. Paul Flynn, different sort of performance from him today. Here's Bernard Brogan. McCarthy had got free. Bernard Brogan, that's right out of the sweet spot, and his eye is very definitely in. And they're level for the 4th time. They were 4 in arrears at one point during this second half. They've got the last 4 to move level with 20 minutes remaining.
Well, it's going to be a long 20 minutes, but look at the game, perfectly poised, and you have to take your hat off to Bernard Brogan. In all fairness, Dara, he's putting in a tremendous performance. We said he was searching for his form in the earlier rounds, in the Leinster final, in the quarter-final, and now he's bang on at the moment.
Kerry are bringing David Moran on for Johnny Buckley. Moran started in the Cavan game, showing well in training by all accounts. Mark Griffin is back on for Kerry. Owen Brosnan leaves the field, so they've reversed that temporary substitution. Bastick getting out in front of Anthony Marr. Very different feel about this semi-final now. Bastick to Paul Mannion. It's to Jack McCaffrey. Tricky angle, this for the lead, and Keeley goes at the fist.
He manages to...
No, he could have caught it. It's back to Dermot Connolly. Connolly slipping just as he wanted to get the shot away. Takes it into the tackle. Back to Bernard Brogan. Dermot Connolly on the right boot for the lead, and he's got it, you know. Super score. 5 without reply for the Leinster champions, and they go in front.
Well, it's brilliantly manufactured between Brogan and Jeremy Connolly, but I just said earlier, sorry for coming across you, Dara, that Brendan Keeley had no need to fist that ball out. It was an easy enough catch over his head. It's cost him the point, and that's the lead for Dublin, as I said, just short of 20 left.
For the first time since the 4th minute.
Oh, what a game. This is sensational stuff, end to end.
The scoring activity in the last 6 minutes, that's the time it's taken them to score those 5 points. Has been all down at the Hill 16 end, but here come Kerry. Colin Cooper launching that in to test out the full back line. Cluxon has gone out, had to win that and had to put it out of play. Did he need to come out there in the first place? But once he got out, he had to make contact with the ball. Line ball, Kerry. And here's the Kerry change, and they now are bringing Owen Brosnan in permanently, and it's Shane Enright who's going off. 19 for 4. Fionn Fitzgerald has gone back into the Kerry full back line. Brosnan will play in the Kerry half back line.
And in that last ball that went on, it has to be said that David Moran was the man that came up with a good substitution, a bit of energy, a bit of movement, a bit more mobility into the middle eight for the Kerry guys.
The star will be in shortly with a big point to prove to his manager, and a big part to play, you feel, in the remaining minutes of this All-Ireland semi-final. Dermot Connolly James McCarthy. Dean Rock for Bernard Brogan. He's isolated with Mark O'Shea. Brogan. O'Shea holding him up fairly, and they've figured out that problem. Fionn Fitzgerald. Quick thinking from Fitzgerald, back to Brendan Keeley. Referee calls a halt. Dublin man down injured. A bit of stuff off the ball as well, but that has calmed down. And now is the moment for Kieran Donaghy to replace Paul Galvin. Bernard Brogan still receiving treatment, and Kieran Donaghy going in at full forward to renew acquaintances with Rory O'Carroll. In the second half, Dublin have outscored Kerry by 6 points to 3. Here's Michael Darragh Macaulay. Bernard Brogan was unmarked momentarily, but now he's been covered. Here's Paddy Andrews. Dean Rock. Paul Mannion now. Mannion gets his shot away. They lead by 1, and it stays a 1-point lead. He missed that by quite a distance. 6th wide, first of the second half for Dublin. They have been ruthless in front of goal, and that is a breakdown in Kerry's kick-out strategy as they head towards 11 minutes since their last score. Dublin 6 without reply in that time.
Oh, big call.
Mannion penalised for playing it on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. But I must say, the honesty with which all the players are going for the ball, it is absolutely terrific stuff. Every ball is a battle. Everyone is giving it their full attention, full honesty going for it. And if the frees go against you, they just get up and get on.
Tomás O'Shea, Fionn Fitzgerald was caught a fraction late as he played that ball out. David Moran took his eyes off that. Here's Donncha Walsh. Michael Darragh Macaulay with him. Tried the tackle, it didn't work. Jack McCaffrey there as well. Here's Darren O'Sullivan, those dancing feet, and they've thrown the ball away in towards Donaghy. James O'Donoghue now, surrounded by 4 Dublin players. Ball squirts out the back. Here's the Gooch, and he's been brought down. And Johnny Cooper is on a yellow card, remember. And Cooper, well, one Cooper fell the other.
Well, if it was Cooper, he's got lucky because Cormac Riley hasn't spotted it. I wasn't 100% it was Cooper. You've a very keen eye, Darragh. But the action was flying. The ball breaks out. Oh, indeed it was. Yeah. Well spotted. Well, that's double yellow, and he should be gone. He's very, very lucky.
And Colm Cooper is down receiving treatment. But we've had a catalogue of huge moments in this game. That's another one.
Yeah. And in the full debate of what we've had in recent weeks, it's only fair to say that that is in the very cynical category too. You know, we went after Sean Kavanagh to a certain degree when he hauled down a man. The Gooch is on the chip lift there. He's clean through for a goal, and Cooper puts out his foot. And not only that, to add insult to injury from the Kerry perspective, he doesn't get the yellow. He stays on the field.
A very interested spectator. They're here. Back here on the 22nd of September. The Mayo manager James Horan, what will he and what does he make of all of this? He's enjoying it. Teams have been level 4 times, and they're taking great care over this treatment for Colm Cooper.
Was it his jaw area they were looking at as they lifted him up very gingerly? Maybe got another bang, a trailing knee or something like that. He looks rattled, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, and I think he wants James O'Donoghue to take the free. Oh, he got caught by Philly McMahon as he was lying on the ground.
Was that a trailing leg or more? Very hard to know.
Coming together there. And that's well, that explains why they took such great care over the treatment for Colm Cooper, and he actually is going to take the free himself.
They say you should never let the injured man take the free, but I'll make an exception in Gooch's case.
All day. Stolen a yard or two and slots that over and brings Kerry level. It's their first point in quite a while, since the 45th minute.
And it's level pegging again, and the short kick out, and just gets away with it, Philly McMahon.
1:15:39. Here's Keane O'Sullivan, Dean Rock, Jack McCaffrey. And McCaffrey launching that in. Brendan Keely out after it. Safe pair of hands. Brogan closes him down. He needs some assistance, the Kerry goalkeeper. He's got it. Mark O'Shea. John Fitzgerald. Anthony Marr. David Moran took a fair bit of time, that ball, to get across to his chest. Owen Brosnan. Declan O'Sullivan. Kieran Donaghy in closest to the Dublin goal. Now look at Tomas O'Shea, 35 years young, running right up there with Declan O'Sullivan. O'Shea steadies down. He's got under that though, but Donaghy may be able to make something out of it. Big battle with Rory O'Carroll. Donaghy in after it. And now Johnny Cooper picks up the loose ball for Dublin. Michael Dara McCauley. Paddy Andrews. This thing's stretching out as we head into the last 10 minutes. They are level. They've been level 5 times in this All-Ireland semi-final. Bernard Brogan out in front now. Dean Rock didn't catch that one. He's got one. Has to wait longer for his second.
He should have got that one. I was very impressed with his opening 10 minutes. So he came on doing everything well, but that will go down as a big miss.
Keane O'Sullivan got out in front of Declan O'Sullivan very easily. Dermot Connolly. Now Johnny Cooper. Cooper from cornerback, missed it.
It's only that and kicked it very much like a cornerback, and a big miss.
Hadn't scored. Still hasn't. Paddy Andrews. Owen O'Gara. Dean Rock is up there with him. Rock on his right foot this time. Over it goes. Dublin back in front, heading into the final 10 minutes of the second All-Ireland semi-final.
Well played by O'Gara. Well, Rock is just brilliant at these. He puts them up over his left shoulder, like they're against his good foot. He's on a kit-dog side, and he's just swinging them over like the posts are 20 metres wide.
He continues his run of 2 points per appearance in this year's championship. That's a Dublin line ball. They look pretty calm at the moment, Jim Gavin and his selectors.
Oh, he's got away with that. They're going to let him have another go, but Paul Flynn sliced it so badly. He may have broken the line. This is a big moment.
Going to throw the ball in. Cormac Riley.
That's what's happened.
For the sideline infringement. Aidan O'Mahony is warming up for Kerry. Owen Brosnan. Donaghy's coming out towards it. Philly McMahon fisting that out to Dennis Bastick.
Could have got anywhere.
Keane O'Sullivan. Dublin have a 1-point lead. This match has had absolutely everything, including poor passes from Keane O'Sullivan. Donaghy out around midfield now. David Moran for Colm Cooper in the Kerry full forward line. Runners arriving. James O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue on a hat-trick of goals, takes the point, and over it goes. To bring them level yet again. 6th time.
I must say I'd have a problem with Keane O'Sullivan's turnover. Looked to me like his hand was held back. The point came off that. Keane O'Sullivan was trying to execute a simple hand pass, and his holding hand was pulled from under him.
Mark Griffin being replaced, as you saw, by Aidan O'Mahony. Another experienced man, very experienced man that Eamon Fitzmaurice can bring in. Where's the kick out going? Dennis Bastick is the answer, but Kerry have got it back. Declan O'Sullivan skips away from the challenge. Colm Cooper. Darren O'Sullivan. Now, possibilities for Kerry. O'Sullivan weaving one way, then the other, and slots it over, and Kerry go back in front. 2 unanswered points from Kerry, and they lead by 1, 3-11, 1-16.
This is just great stuff. This is just great stuff. 1 ball in, 1 ball out, scores. It's got everything, absolutely everything. And now the lead is back with Kerry.
Billy McMahon sauntering forward for Dublin. That could work out well. Paul Flynn. Bernard Brogan further out this time. Brogan. The shootout continues, but he's put that one wide. Kerry's 1-point lead still intact. That was Dublin's 29th scoring chance. They've kicked 8 wides.
Thought Brogan might just take on his defender there. Here's the Darren O'Sullivan one earlier on. Lovely little flick pass from Cooper. Deadly accuracy on the Kitog from Darren O'Sullivan. He's been very busy all day too. But in the last sequence, we had Bernard Brogan getting the ball in, really good position. But the one thing he hasn't done today is take on Mark O'Shea. I think it's out of respect for how brilliant a defender O'Shea is. And he snatched somewhat at it at a crucial stage in the game. But still 7 minutes left.
And a Kerry man down, injured. The break in play will be welcomed by Kerry. Kevin McMenamin, remember the impression he made when coming on as a substitute in the 2011 All-Ireland final. We haven't even spoken about the revenge issue for Kerry. They felt they left that after them that day, leading by 4 points with 6 minutes to go.
He made a bit of an impression, all right.
Kerry with a 1-point lead, written off by many in the build-up to this game after some indifferent performances, and there's been no second-half fade-out from the Munster champions as there was against Cavan, as there was against Cork, as there was against Tyrone in the league.
I think Dennis Bastick might have casually picked that up off the ground.
Now, there's a bit of a schmozzle broken out close to the Dublin goal. James O'Donoghue and Kieran Donaghy getting to know Philly McMahon and Rory O'Carroll. Dublin about to make their 5th and final substitution, and what has the referee, what is he going to hear when he speaks to the 2 umpires? Philly McMahon was involved. Bernard Brogan is being replaced by Kevin McManaman. Those consultations continue with Cormac Riley, the referee. The notebook is coming out.
Rory O'Carroll was involved too, I think, wasn't he?
Rory O'Carroll and Kieran Donaghy. A yellow each. Yeah. Here's why.
It should be added. There's no ball there.
Yeah. Kind of important. Tomas O'Shea launches that up high. Donaghy goes after it with Rory O'Carroll. Good fist from the Dublin fullback, James McCarthy. He's fouled. Dublin haven't scored at 5 minutes. Kerry have got the last 2. They're going to make their final change. Jack Sherwood, 21 he wears, and he replaces Peter Crowley. Sherwood's championship debut. Played in the league. What a stage for him to come into. In Croke Park at this late stage. Here's Kevin McManaman, that familiar running style. Has to go back from Sherwood. McManaman on his left boot, and he's missed it, and missed it by quite a distance. 2 successive wides from Dublin, one from Bernard Brogan, who's no longer on the field. There's the man who replaced him, Kevin McManaman. 9 wides in total. Kerry still lead by 1.
And those few substitutions and the yellow cards, the clock has been ticking away all this while, and we've just over 3.5 minutes left, and this is going to make it very, very tense and very, very tight for the grand finish.
1977, the last time Dublin managed successive wins over Kerry in the championship. Dennis Bastick with possession for Dublin. Paddy Andrews having to go wide, and Paddy Andrews dragged back. Referee gives the free. Now there's no Bernard Brogan on the field to take the free. Will they bring Stephen Cluxton forward to do this? And that is Jack Sherwood, the new man in, who's got a yellow card for his challenge. Cluxton is going forward. Dermot Connolly has the ball in his hands at the moment. The Dublin supporters here in Croke Park cannot look. Connolly wants to take it. Cluxton out of picture, is now on halfway. Dermot Connolly happy that he wants to take the free.
And it's his weaker foot.
On his weaker left boot. Connolly.
Oh, that's terrific.
Put it over. That's a huge kick from Dermot Connolly. Level a 7th time. 20 points apiece, 3-11, 1-17. It's just stunning stuff. Dublin with possession. Jack McCaffrey hauled down.
What about Cluxton now, Dara? Oh no! Oh,
the referee has reversed the decision. Dublin had a free. Jack McCaffrey.
But don't know why the reversal. Did he say play on and he stood up?
Maybe.
And he overcarried? Yeah, maybe he didn't give a free the first time.
Something to clarify afterwards. Here's Declan O'Sullivan, the sides level in this incredible All-Ireland football semi-final. James O'Donoghue had an incredible first half. O'Donoghue, angle tricky. Bastick got a hand in. Here's Kieran Donaghy. Now Declan O'Sullivan. Declan O'Sullivan for Kerry. It's on its way. But it's wide. It's wide. Missing it on the near side. It looked good initially. It stays a draw game.
This is all about the next ball, Dara.
Kerry have put pressure on Stephen Cluxton all afternoon from these kickouts. Nothing has been easy for the Dublin team to secure their own ball. It's belted long by Cluxton, and it's going to be a Kerry ball, is it? Michael Darragh-Macaulay, brilliant. Here's Kevin McManaman. Memories of 2011 as he burst through. The sides are level. McManaman still going! He's done it again! Could have taken the point. What a goal from Kevin McManaman. He spotted Keely off his line, and he's got the move that takes Dublin to the All-Ireland final.
Well, what an effort by Darragh-Macaulay. Dara, I think he actually does go for the point here. I stand correct. Yes, I believe he did. Miskicked it, but it floated over the head of Brendan Keely. What a goal!
He's the ultimate super sub against Kerry, Kevin McManaman. They lead by 3, and there will be 3 added minutes. Is there time for Kerry to come back from that sucker punch? 2-17, 3-11. It's been the game of the year, maybe the game of the decade by some distance. Cian O'Sullivan for Dublin. Michael Darragh-Macaulay. Paul Flynn, McManaman. Now it's Dublin's turn to keep possession. They were on the ropes during the first half. Kerry hit them so hard. Here's Dermot Connolly. Connolly for Dublin, put his foot right through it, raises his arm into the sky. He knew from the moment he kicked it that it was over. It's a 4-point lead. And is this over? You wouldn't think so, with all the drama we've had all the way through. 2-18, 3-11. Owen Brosnan. Donaghy's in, looking after that. That's Paul Flynn, operating as, well, almost another fullback. Stephen Cluxton. And Cluxton wants to play football. And he's been caught by Anthony Marr and goes down crushing his face. Paul Flynn has gone in to play as goalkeeper. Dennis Bastick punching the ball and firing it up into space. Fionn Fitzgerald. Brendan Keely on his own 45-metre line. 3 minutes of added time, 2 left. Mark O'Shea. These guys, some of the greats of Gaelic football, have given it the whole lot. Here's Darren O'Sullivan, and that's in for Kieran Donaghy. O'Carroll there with him. Dublin's defence breached 3 times, not a 4th. Kevin McManaman. Dragged back by James O'Donoghue, and a chance for them just to calm things down and kill it. Anthony Marr.
Second yellow.
Second yellow. Kerry down to 14. That was for his challenge on Stephen Cluxton.
Kerry are still going after this. There's a lot of movement. They haven't thrown in the towel. Was it 3 minutes, Dara? I think I heard you say.
Yeah, it was just a few seconds of that left, and Dublin have the ball. They were pushed and pushed and pushed. They knew they would be. But Kevin McManaman's goal has flipped this thing right on its head. 40 seconds remaining. Kerry had the lead not so long ago. Then it was level. Then McManaman did his stuff. Aidan O'Mahony. And that's It's gone out over the line. He looks like the calmest man in Croke Park, Jim Gavin.
Oh God, if he is, there's something not working.
Michael Dara McCauley
He's been brilliant.
Icing on the cake. He has been absolutely fantastic. They're in around the back. O'Gara goal! Rock just made sure it may have crossed the line in the first instance. I think it did. O'Gara will get the goal, and that is the icing on the cake. And Jim Gavin, in his first year in charge of the Dublin senior footballers,
it's all over.
Has brought his team to this, and they are in the All-Ireland final. It was over the line. They've got 3 goals of their own, 3-18 to 3-11.
Oh, what a game.
7 points, and what a stunning game of Gaelic football we have witnessed. It ends in bitter disappointment for Kerry. They gave it absolutely all they could, but McMenamin, his introduction was late in the second half.
Yeah, it was terrific stuff, you have to say, end to end. Hard to believe the final score shows 7 points of a differential between the two teams. It was never that, it was never that. But McMenamin, we said he made a bit of an impression in 11, made another big one today.
His goal was in the 70th minute of this All-Ireland semi-final. Huge disappointment for the great Colm Cooper. There is the full-time score. 3-18 to Dublin, Kerry 3-11. Well, Stephen Cluxton didn't have to intervene with that Connolly free.
That was a big point, wasn't it? Oh, really ballsy shot from Jeremy Connolly. Showed a lot of character because it was so key at the time. McMenamin's effort, I really look forward to seeing it tonight on the Sunday game, what the lads make of it. I thought he went for the point. It was the clever thing to do because it would have made a huge difference. But I think he slightly miskicked it, and it just beat the goalie. The flight of it ended up in the net.
Brendan Keeley, the Kerry goalkeeper, was a little off his line. It's the first time since 1977 that Dublin have managed back-to-back wins over Kerry in the championship. It's only their 8th victory, and today was the 27th meeting of these two great counties. Ger Brennan, who was taken off at half-time.
And didn't they go about it the right way, Dara? What a game we had from both teams. I mean, Dublin have won it the right way, but I have to say Kerry have also lost it the right way, if you know what I'm saying. They went at it just brilliantly honest in everything they went about. Okay, there's the odd little bit of afters and so on, but that's championship cut and thrust. But the scoring, the tempo, everything about it, tremendous, and Dublin march on.
Two heavyweights going toe-to-toe. They did that all afternoon. When you hear about a match having everything, well, I think we have just been privileged to witness it. Incredible football, and the Kerry players have left the field. The last Dublin players leaving. Bernard Dunn with Bernard Brogan. Bernard, a key part of their backroom team. He knows all about being on the ropes and coming through and winning, and that's what they did. Dublin in the second half scored 2-9 with 11 scorers. Kerry in the second half restricted to just 6 points, all from 6 different scorers. Let's get some reaction, and this man has done it again for Dublin. Claire McNamara.
Kevin, you have done it again. An incredible finish to an incredible game.
Yeah, Mayo were deadly last week against Tyrone, especially in probably the last half an hour, last 50 minutes in particular. And they'll get goals against us if we don't probably tighten up a little bit at the back. But it's great to come away with the win when I suppose we didn't probably play as good as we might.
Well, congratulations on your performance, Kevin.
Thanks very much.
Well, congratulations indeed to Kevin McMenamin and to Dublin, and that is what I call a game of football. Colm O'Rourke, did you enjoy that?
This was one of the greatest sporting occasions I've ever been at, but it was also one of the greatest games of football I have ever seen. I think the media oftentimes, and Kerry people in particular, often say when Dublin win a close match, it's always built up into something greater than maybe it was, like the 77 semi-final. This had it all. this was just the most fantastic game anyone could have been, and anyone sitting at home have been privileged to see. It had it all, and I suppose deja vu for Kerry with Kevin McManaman coming on. But Dublin were the better team. I think we should say that for the start. And I don't think Kerry could have got much more out of the team today than they did. And with 68 minutes gone and it was a draw match, I was hoping against hope that there wouldn't be another score and we could see it again. But in the end, the youthful energy of Dublin prevailed, and they sort of overwhelmed Kerry in the end. And unfortunately, it may mean the end of some great Kerry players who's been a great privilege to come to Croke Park to see, and it would be a pity, but they went out in style.
Well, actually, a few minutes from the end, I did say to our floor manager, Brian, here, a disappointed Kerry man this evening, check when the replay is. But Joe, there wasn't going to be a replay. Dublin just sealed it out.
The game in the end is about glory. You know, that's a glorious victory, a victory with honour by the Dubs, playing the game the right way, living and dying by their man-to-man strategy, you know, playing a beautiful brand of football and playing with tremendous enthusiasm. And, you know, the message should go out from here. The way the Dubs are playing Gaelic football, that's the way everybody should be coaching it. It's the way everybody should want to play it. Well, you know, I was disappointed, I have to say, in the second half with the repeated cynical fouling by Kerry players, repeated cynical fouling. You know, I appreciate.
I didn't see too much of it.
Well, that's not correct. That's not correct.
You're being negative, Joe.
And the point about it is that, you know, we've seen it again today. The sooner the new rule comes out, and the better that men are being sent off. But you'd have to say the courage of Jim Gavin to stick with his convictions at half time, the way they played in the second half. I mean, it truly was hair-raising. I mean, we were standing up and sitting down and standing up. It was a fabulous occasion and a fabulous game of football.
Pass went down, but went down with glory.
It is. I mean, Joe is nitpicking now and being negative, picking out cynical players. Look, let's not be nitpicking. Look, the bottom line, Michael, we saw everything that was great about Gaelic football. Today was an advertisement for the game of Gaelic football, how it should be played. Two teams who set up their stall positively. Joe has been expounding these defensive systems for years that has ruined the game of Gaelic football. Now there is hope, now there is redemption. It was a brilliant, brilliant game of Gaelic football. Brilliant by Dublin, they showed great character, came behind on several occasions. The substitutions made a huge bit, but can I just pay tribute to the Kerry players, because at the end of that game, 7 of those fellas playing started in the 6 in a row All-Ireland titles back in 2009. They owe nothing to Kerry football. We probably won't see their likes again.
And you know what? Their manager played in some of those with them. Let's hear his thoughts. Eamon Fitzmaurice.
Eamon, quite a wonderful game, but I don't suppose that's much consolation to you right now, is it?
It's not clear, no, it wasn't. We came up to win today and we just came up just short, so look, we're bitterly disappointed. What can we say? We're going down the country empty-handed, simple as that.
It was quite an electric start, those 3 goals. You looked really, really up for this challenge.
We were up for the challenge. We've been written off pretty much for a lot of the summer, and we wanted to answer, you know, a lot of people today, and most of all we just wanted to play for ourselves and play for the group, and we nearly got there, but just not quite enough in the end.
You came in very much as underdogs. I suppose many people not wondering quite what to expect from you, but it was certainly some performance. I mean, with 5 minutes left, you had your noses in front.
Yeah, it was. The game panned out the way we expected it to pan out. We expected we would get goal chances. The way Dublin played, they do leave themselves open at the back. We felt that we had the forwards to punish that, and that's the way it played out in the first half. But look, they're a serious team. We knew that they were favourites for a reason today, and that same man again broke our hearts 2 years ago. Got the goal again today, and he just it was the difference between the sides.
And I suppose, in terms of today, you took some risks as well in your selection. There was a couple of young defenders, I suppose, especially in there with the O'Sheas.
There was, but you know, maybe that point has been missed over the summer. We've a lot of good young lads in the squad as well, and we trust them. We trust every fella that was tagged off there for us today to do a job, and that experience that those lads got playing in front of a full house against Dublin, you can't buy that kind of stuff.
And I suppose you broke the pattern of the last couple of games as well, in that you stayed in the game strongly right until the end.
We did, yeah. You know, there was different explanations in the different games for that, but we were confident that we'd be there at the end today, as we were, but you know, we didn't close the deal out, so like I said, it's not much consolation that we were there at the end. I'd prefer to have had a bit of a fade out and won the game, and you know, that's the way it goes.
You have many very experienced and very decorated players in that team and in this squad. Do you feel that that's maybe the last we'll see of some of them?
I don't know. That's a personal decision for the lads. Today is not a day for thinking about things like that. They've been some of the best players that have ever played the game, never mind played for Kerry. So the lads will have a chill now and think about it. Their dedication and example to the younger players this year was absolutely phenomenal. We couldn't have asked for more of them. So today is not a day to be making decisions like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Eamon.
Okay, Claire.
Gracious Kerry manager, Eamon Fitzmaurice. Congratulations, though, to Dublin on reaching this year's All-Ireland football final.
Tony McEntee. Tony, Martin pointing out there, in the 69th minute, Kerry were a point ahead. They lost by 7. It was incredible.
Yeah, fabulous turnaround at the end of the match. And I think it's slightly flattered Dublin in a game whereby Kerry were right there with them right up until that 69th minute. So, but a fabulous end to a match that was a very entertaining match, and a match that lived up to expectation.
Did you expect to see so many goals, for instance?
No, probably not. But I mean, people are not used to watching open football at the minute, so we don't expect them goals. I mean, you have to look at it. Kerry were sheer class, but the problem is they hadn't got the legs and the energy to keep that going. Dublin's point of view, that the subs to come off the bench, which made a big difference, and they had the legs and they ended up, and that probably was the difference. But what a game of football! It was very, very enjoyable, great game of football, and I think it was important from a football point of view. Hurling had taken over this year, so this game I think puts us back there.
Puts you back where? That's a whole other debate. I don't know, Logan will take you on that in a minute. But in terms of a spectacle and something to encourage coaches of kids' teams or whatever, it was everything you wanted, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was absolutely everything that you'd look for in a game of football. And I suppose the one thing that we can take from this is that there was no sweeper deployed. This was 15 orthodox on 15, and it absolutely opened up a brilliant game of football. And we saw everything. We saw skill, we saw tackling, we saw high fielding. We didn't see any negativity. And as Martin said, you know, hurling had taken over, but this is a game that really brought football back up to the top. And you know, as I said, a spectacle-wise, it was top class. I think someone said it might have been the greatest game possibly of the decade. It certainly had everything.
All right then. Now, when I was asking you, you know, what was the difference between the team in the end? Because there was virtually nothing between them. But you were saying Dublin showed great character at key point.
Yeah, at key points in the game. I mean, we look at it, Kerry scored 3 goals and still Dublin won the match, and Kerry played well. So, I mean, that just shows you how good Dublin had to be and how good they were. I mean, the stages in the game, they were 5 points down early on in the game and they came back. At the stage later on in the game, they went a point down and they came back. But I felt the stage in the game when they were 3-8 to 110 down days, the scores they got after that, they got 5 points in a row. When you needed leaders, you needed characters, and we see them for them. One of them was on a free by Bernard Brogan. See Paul Mannion going through here, and these are all great scores. 2 of them come from the right side. Dean Rock just coming off the bench. I think that was his first kick of the game. What a score. I mean, what a sub to have to dig off the bench. Kicked with his right foot from the opposite side. Normally players kick with the left foot. See it here, the other side of the field, Bernard Brogan. And you see him going through here, right or left foot. The great thing about this Dublin forward line, they have both feet, and that's very, very hard to play against with 2 feet.
They look composed there as well.
Very composed. But this is when they were behind the game, and I think this is what Jim Gavin took out of this game was the ability that Dublin showed to come back. This Paddy Andrews, only score he got in the match, but what an important score. Again, off his left foot, solo the right foot, and then Jeremy Connolly, who worked really, really hard, and he had a great battle with Thomas O'Shea all day. See Bernard Brogan laying it back to Jeremy Hill. This is a great score. I mean,
and these are all inside 5 minutes.
They were all inside from we're talking about the 44th minute to about the 49th, 50th minute of the game. And that was a very important stage. Look at that stage, people will be saying Kerry's going to win this match. This is Kerry's game. And, you know, they showed great character and great leadership, and something maybe Dublin teams in the past wouldn't have done.
Okay. Tactically, it was fascinating as well. And Tony, you've been looking at the contrast in the way the two teams attacked. So let's start with the first half.
So we'll see it here now. Dublin approached the game from a mindset of passing the ball through the defence and trying to deploy their running game, which has been very effective and very good at. And here you see Paddy Andrews coming right through the middle, and what he's doing is looking for an opening here. And he got that opening, and Cian O'Sullivan then charges through the middle and gets a score.
Coming off his shoulder, yeah.
Coming off his shoulder. Now, Jack McCaffrey does this well, James McCarthy does as well. But what they're actually doing here is trying to create an opportunity and run the ball through the middle. Now, this is difficult from a Kerry point of view to defend because they're trying to go man-to-man. Yeah. And with Fionn Fitzpatrick tightly marking Kieran Kilkenny, it leaves the space available for them. But when you contrast this to Kerry's style of play, Colin Cooper stays on the 40, and what he does is lateral passing or lateral movements left and right, and he's looking for that opportunity with a kick passing ball. when Colin goes in full forward, Declan O'Sullivan comes out to centre-half forward, and Declan then does the same type of lateral runs from centre-half forward, where the space is created by the other Dublin forwards in that position. And what they're doing is passing the ball, getting that opportunity, creating the space, and getting nice scores, in contrast to Dublin's very tight passing the ball through possession, through their hands. Now this changes then, obviously, after half-time.
Was that a tactical decision, or was fitness a factor, or what?
I think from a Dublin perspective, it was certainly a tactical decision. That the running game wasn't particularly working for them. They weren't getting the full forwards on the ball. And you see in the second half, this is Paddy Andrews passing the ball in the young man in the corner. And it's a nice, crisp, clean pass in front. The possession that he wasn't getting in the first half. He lays the ball out, and again, that's Dean Rock scores you seen earlier on. And to do the same here with Bernard Brogan as well. Nice passes in. So this is the first pass in the Mannion, second pass then in the Bernard Brogan. So nice, crisp, sharp play, something similar to what Kerry was doing in the first half. Now, they don't get a score here, but it suggests, or it shows what they're doing. Kerry, on the other hand, if you look at Kerry here, this Gooch that we're after highlighting there, he doesn't make the lateral passes because the space isn't available for him, and the two inside forwards aren't actually moving at all, and they're holding the position well.
Cian O'Sullivan had dropped back on him, hadn't he?
He had dropped back, and this is something they weren't doing in the first half either. There was long, direct, non-directional, I suppose, passing coming into the full forward line, and that ball was coming straight back out. So Kerry in the first half were playing lovely, swift possession with the foot into the inside forwards, and Dublin were running the ball, trying to make something work. But in the second half, Dublin changed to a nice kick passing style of play, and Kerry, on the other hand, probably got tired at that point. And what they started doing was kicking balls in or running possession.
Johnny would have went in there as well, and that would have been the target man that they were looking for as well.
Paddy Andrews, how well he played out the field. We see him on the ball when he came out the field the second. The other thing is, I think Eamon Fitzmaurice got a lot right today, but he made one mistake. He should have put Downey into the middle of the field. They changed their style of playing head-to-head high ball, and it actually suited Dublin.
I think part of it was probably to do with their tiredness as well. So after half-time, Gooch hadn't got the legs to make that space. Cian O'Sullivan was a crucial move. He went back into centre half-back, and he was able to physically have a better presence on Colin Cooper and cut down the space on him. And when the outlet pass wasn't available, it left it then that there was no option really but to kick the ball in. And again, that's a problem with having Donaghy full forward.
All right, but to credit Kerry on so many levels, the skill of the goals, etc., but tactically in the first half, they really put Dublin under pressure. The Stephen Cluxton kick-out is famous, but
yeah, we know
Kerry...
going into the game days, everybody's talking about Cluxton and Partney. But see the way they do it here. Interesting, none of them really push up on the man. They stay so far off them to allow maybe Cluxton to give the ball, and then in they go. We see them arrowed here the way they just come in. I think it's Cian O'Sullivan takes this ball, and they're right in on top of him. They won the ball right away, and Gooch Cooper picks up and gets fouled there. That's the way they didn't push right up on them. See here, put them under pressure again, not pushing up enough to allow Cluxton to give the ball, but then put the pressure on. And it'll be interesting, like James Horan will be really studying that end of it. We'll see what happened Cluxton here. Normally a very cool customer. Cluxton, and James Donald goes for a shot, hits the post, comes back down. And, you know, normally if he stood up here, Donald Walsh would be blown for charging. Actually, Cluxton made the referee's decision easy by actually pulling him down. And you know, see him here telling the referee he's not happy with it for a very quiet man. And you see James Donald putting away the penalty. Now, that wasn't the first half. There's an interesting one here. Thomas O'Shea goes up the field, lays off the ball to Darren O'Sullivan. Thomas there, we're just singling him out there. Thomas playing a wing half-back, had a very good match today. Great battle with Jeremy Connolly. Now see what happens to the ball. This is the time there's 4 points in the game. Look at that kick out to Jeremy Connolly, and there's Thomas O'Shea trying to get back in. That's Cluxton. That was an 80 yards kick. Now many goalkeepers would see that. The ability to know Thomas O'Shea was caught up the field and hits Jeremy Connolly, and that was the start of when Dublin got right back into the game at that stage. You have to give him credit. He wasn't going well in the first half, and he turned it around in the second half.
Okay. The Kerry goals were a thing to behold, the first two.
Yeah, well, I think all year we've been talked, Dublin have, you know, as class as they are going forward, I think everybody knows that they are a little bit, you know, wide open at the back, and, you know, both Kerry goals in the first 11 minutes they'd stuck to behind Stephen Cluxton. I mean, their highlights, the space that was left for the Kerry attack, and we saw James O'Donoghue there, you know, brilliant pass. Again, Colin Cooper, who was central to both goals, pass into Donnchadh Walsh. Again, look at the space in there.
Amazing
and
space.
That's something that, you know, Mayo will be looking to exploit in the second half. But look at this for a finish. Cool, calm, collective. Doesn't even celebrate. This is just business with Kerry, and he gets on with it. As I said again, central to that, though, was Colin Cooper made 2 excellent points. And the other thing about that was, you know, I don't know if Dublin actually gave Kerry enough credit, you know, for their goal scoring ability today. Against Cork, Dublin deployed Brian Cullen in kind of a sweeper role. Now, we didn't play deep back in the full back line, but he played just behind the midfield, which forced the kind of full back line to stay near goal, and as a result you didn't have that space. And Dublin didn't concede any goals against Cork, so it's something that Dublin will have to look to for the final. Will they have to put Brian Cullen in that role, maybe play a sweeper to stop opposition scoring goals?
Do you think they need a sweeper against Mayo, Tony, Dublin? Or someone dropping deep, certainly?
No, I don't actually think they need a sweeper. I think what Kerry exposed today was where you give them space and you allow them the opportunity to pass the ball properly, they're going to cause you a serious amount of harm. I think one of the things that Mayo don't have is a centre quarters of the passing capability of Colin Cooper. We know Keith Higgins plays centre quarters for them, and he marks or roams or does whatever. So they don't have that ability.
Playmaker.
I don't have that ability to have a playmaker in the centre quarter line. So I think if they mark man to man, they have more than enough space, and that Dublin defence is probably tight enough to mark the Mayo forwards.
You know what's interesting just on it? The Dublin two midfielders love going forward, so they do leave gaps. Normally a team would say drop a midfield. The other thing is that was Donoghue Walsh, Jack McCaffrey's man, so they put Jack McCaffrey in the back foot. It was him that got inside for the penalty, got inside that in there. So it'd be interesting to see what Mayo do in that situation. Maybe they play Kevin McLaughlin on him and play him further up the field to put him under pressure in front of his own goals.
It's fascinating what's going to happen looking ahead to it. Were there any weaknesses in the Dublin performance today? It was good in so many areas, Martin.
Yeah, good in a lot of areas, and they showed the pace and power and getting the subs. I mean, the subs particularly coming off the bench. The subs made a big difference, in my opinion, coming off the bench. But there's always weaknesses. There's always things there happening. I suppose not scoring the goals. But I mean, this is Dublin all the time. We're every day they go out, they're expecting to get 25 goal chances, 8 goal chances, and don't take them.
But the one weakness is, I think that you highlighted, it was at the start. When the midfielders do run through, they actually take the full forward line, probably their strongest line, their scoring threat out of it, in that they don't pass the ball to them. And we saw a couple of examples of it today where, Bernard Brogan was inside, Michael Darragh McCauley was running through, all it needed was a pass. Didn't get the pass. And as you said, as good as they are, there is a weakness within themselves from that sense.
A wee bit selfish, some of them at times, taking the wrong option. You've got to take the right. The 1-2 is what creates a goal chance, the easy goal chance, knock it into the net. Give the 1-2, and Dublin don't do that. They normally, they're going at 100 miles an hour and don't think about just giving the ball, giving it back and taking simple tap into the net.
That's the other side of it, though, confidence, you see. They're all very confident that they can score, and that's a huge thing as well.
I think one of the problems for Jim Galvin maybe in the final is that he has to decide which of those systems plays. He won't have the opportunity a half an hour of a running style and a half an hour of a passing style, because the opportunity won't be there from the final, and we know that Mayo will last the 70 minutes. So he's going to have to make up his mind, or at least the players will have to make up their mind what to do in the best circumstance that they find themselves in.
What would be most effective for them in your view?
I think they can interchange it, but they've got to be smarter about when to interchange. And we'll see in the goal examples or the opportunities maybe that they've had later on, is that they're not using the extra players that they have beside them. So you can run the game, but you've got to vary it, and vary it more often than they're presently doing.
All right, but staying with what was great for Dublin today, yet again they've proved it's the squad and the strength of their bench.
I think from day dot, when we first talked about Dublin, from the very beginning, we said the one thing that they have today, is a very strong bench. And we looked at today, after 16 minutes, Jim Gavin made the first substitution. Philly McMahon came on, and he did an excellent job. Even scoring a point, albeit it was a lucky point, it was a bounce, but it was a point, and there we saw him deliver a great ball. Come half-time, they recognised that Ger Brennan probably wasn't having his best day. They brought on Dennis Bastick, put Keane Sullivan back into the centre-back to curb Colin Cooper, but there's Bastick straight away, coming out with a ball and setting up an attack. And as a substitute, especially around midfield, that's what you want. Then Dean Rock, you can name them all. First touch, comes on in the 43rd minute, I think. First touch, makes a great run there. From an acute angle, that's in between the 14 and the 21, and strikes it over. He gets a second one again then. And then we look at Kevin McLaughlin. We've seen this before. It's like deja vu. But this is vital. If you look at Michael Darragh McCauley here, you'll see him. 3 Kerry players, look at the determination to win that ball into Kevin McManaman, and he takes it on. Now, there's a debate here. He said himself in the interview afterwards that he wasn't sure about going for a goal or a point. He went for the crossbar. I kind of think that he miskicked it. He dropped it a little bit short. Doesn't matter. He got it. He was on the end of it, and Dublin got the goal. When we look at Dublin, the substitutions were 1 defender, 1 midfielder, and 3 forwards, and they scored 2-3. Kerry substitutions were 3 defenders, 1 midfielder, and 1 forward. Didn't score anything.
It's a big difference, all right. Tony was making the point Martin, about the other goal chances Dublin make. Like that they do keep making these goal chances, and maybe they should be finishing more.
Yes, we're saying. I think that's the one thing we see. Even Kevin McMenamin, there's a big moment in the game, and he still took the wrong option. Probably he should have. The players over.
He'll say he put it in the net.
See Michael McCauley who had a great match today. Straight into Bernard Brogan. We see it there, and Bernard Brogan knocks the ball. We see it just going through. Just to use his left hand. Look at it. I mean, he's not going to score. Just palm it, and he palms it into an empty net. It's just taking the right option at that time. It's going to be important, particularly in the final. Scores like that's going to be important. Again, Mannion getting the ball here, laid off to Bernard Brogan. He's unlucky here, but he should have still laid it back to Mannion with his left hand. See, what happens is, the one thing a back does, he'll go to the player in the ball, and if you play the 1-2, he'll leave the other player. If you're good at doing that. Keane O'Sullivan went through there. Now, I think maybe what he should have carried on to Sullivan into the net. They'll make a difference, but that was the two midfielders the first half getting through, and they caused a lot of problems running straight at the Kerry defence the way they did. It'll be interesting. Probably not get the same chance to run at the Mayo defence, and the Mayo half-back line's probably better than the Kerry half-back line was today.
And just to clear up, lots of people wondering, probably the two men involved most of all, to clear up who got the third goal for Dublin. Tony, we can have a look at it now, and Dean Rock ultimately finished into the net. But that's Michael Dara giving it to Owen O'Gara.
Yeah, I think this is an example leading on from the previous one, whereby the man in the better position didn't get the ball. So Dean Rock was free running in, whereas Owen O'Gara took the shot himself. Owen O'Gara scored, it went over the line, and we don't see it here, but the ball did cross the line, and it was given to Owen O'Gara, like it should be given to Owen O'Gara.
Okay, that'll keep Owen O'Gara happy, whatever about Dean Rock. All right, well, that's the view of our panel. But what did the Dublin and Kerry camps make of that great game?
It was a great game. Two teams that really believed that they could win, and both of them showed that in the way they played football, the way we believe, and certainly Kerry believe as well, the way it's meant to be played. And both teams really went at it.
The game panned out the way we expected it to pan out. We expected we would get goal chances. The way Dublin played, they do leave themselves open at the back. We felt that we had the forwards to punish that, and that's the way it played out in the first half.
It's great. Feels like a long time ago now since we were there in 2011, but absolutely fantastic feeling. Great atmosphere there in the dressing room now.
Goes with a very precise pass to Walsh. They've got in around the back. O'Donoghue!
Game ebbs and flows, and that's just the way we accept that the way we play our football. That these things will happen.
Dublin far too open. Walsh! Goal!
The game goes up and down, and we just need to keep at it and keep to the game plan. And there's great esprit de corps amongst the group, and they didn't waver. And even at half time, there was no sense of panic, and it was very calm actually.
I think we let in 3 goals today, so that's definitely something for us to work on. Hopefully we just learned a lesson when things like that happen. Don't lose the head and just stick to your guns, and I think we did that today, and thankfully it paid off.
We've been written off pretty much for a lot of the summer, and we wanted to answer a lot of people today, and most of all we just wanted to play for ourselves and play for the group, and we nearly got there, but just not quite enough in the end.
There's great resolve and determination and willingness never to quit in this Dublin team, and certainly when we're going down to the final quarter we had great belief, and the players themselves had great belief in their own ability and the extent of the panel, and we knew that they were going to keep going strong, and I think they kept the intensity of the game up at a great level throughout the full 70 minutes, and it's a credit to them for doing that against a formidable Kerry side who really threw everything at us.
Possibilities for Kerry. O'Sullivan weaving one way then the other, and slots it over, and Kerry go back in front.
Our philosophy is that it's a 20-man game, and it takes us 20 men to get over that line.
And they're level for the 4th time.
Look, they're a serious team. We knew that they were favourites for a reason today, and that same man again broke our hearts 2 years ago. Got the goal again today, and he just it was the difference between the sides.
I just started running, I suppose, on the outside. I thought the defender was going to come to me, but they kind of played half in between myself and the 2 boys in the wings.
The sides are level. McMenamin still going. He's done it again.
So I just said, I'm trying to aim for the crossbar, and it might sneak under or go over, but we'll get something out of it.
It was touch and go throughout the whole game, and could have gone either way, and just that goal from Kev Mack, he did it again for us, and it was absolutely fantastic.
We came up to win today, and we just came up just short, so look, we're bitterly disappointed. What can we say? We're going down the country empty-handed, simple as that.
That final whistle goes, and you go back into the dressing room and you take a look around. That's when you really enjoy it.
Yeah, great pictures there, but could Kerry have given any more, Tony? They gave their all, didn't they?
They gave their all. I do some work for the Irish Examiner down there, like in the big Kerry base, and we come into the match here, or they come into the match in this case, expecting, well, certainly the fans were expecting them to put up a performance, but to get well beaten, possibly by a Dublin team who are young and thriving and buzzing, let's be honest with it. And they come in there today and they give us a pair performance, they played lovely football. Eamon Fitzmaurice did his job brilliantly on the line. They're tired, there's no doubt about it, you know. But certainly they can stand proud, and they've done a really good job today. And, you know, I don't think there's talk at this stage about retirement or otherwise, but certainly they should at least rest for the winter and review it again the next year.
Dermot, you feel strongly about that. The question always gets asked when you know, of experienced players about retirement. Do you think that shouldn't come up?
Well, I think just once a player turns over, you know, 31 or 32, you know, it's automatically that people almost start looking for their, you know, them to go. I mean, look, some of these players, whether it be Paul Galvin, you know, Tomás O'Shea, Mark O'Shea, Declan O'Sullivan. I know these are the elder statesmen of the even Kieran Donaghy, who's been a fantastic footballer.
Yeah.
You know, they've just added to one of the best games of football that we've seen in the last how many years. And you know, to be talking about fellas, you know, to retire just because of their age, I mean, that's wrong. I think, as you know, Tony said, there's a lot to take in after this defeat. They go home, play a bit of club championship, settle up for the winter. And if the hunger is there and they want to go again, then albeit go for it, I'd say.
So the hunger is normally in Kerry, man, Martin.
Yeah, sometimes looking at, you know, I mean, they were working on sheer class today. I mean, they're a joy to watch today. And I think if they take a break and everything else, I think they've played something like 9 Division 1 teams this year, and they've lost the second half on 7 occasions. So I think they need to get more legs in. They've got James O'Donoghue, the nurse James O'Donoghue. Give the older fellas a rest and try to get these few players, and it's going to make a difference for them, because, you know, they're really, I mean, their first half performance, I mean, the best performance we've seen this year is their first half performance against Cork and their first half performance today. They're just fabulous the way to watch them playing football, but they're just the legs and the tiredness.
I know you're all saying that, and it's a reasonable point, but on the other hand, they were a point ahead with a minute to go. I mean,
they weren't crucially actually. Declan O'Sullivan had the point, had the chance to put them up, and directly from that result came the goal that Kevin McMenamin had. You know,
small margins.
And that was 68 and a half minutes. You know, so had they got that score, like, you know, I mean, they possibly would have pushed on and won that
just
match.
Just have better players to come off the bench would make it. You know,
in the end,
Dermot said early on, the subs made the difference in the end. They just didn't have that type of player. So if they can get a few players down there, they're not going away.
Well, it's time to name our man of the match, and Kevin, you have the nominees. Lots of debate, but the nominees first of all.
Yeah, nominees first of all. I mean, there were a lot of great performances in the game, particularly from the Dublin players. I thought Michael Dara McCauley, the first man in the middle of the field, he had a great performance. There were 7 midfielders used today, and he was by far the best midfielder on show. There's no doubt about that. And you know, the second player we went for, I mean, Colm Cooper's first half performance today was probably one of the best we've ever seen in Gaelic football that I've ever seen in my time watching Gaelic football. His first half, what he was about the first half, I mean, brilliant. And then you have Jeremy Connolly, who stood up today, and the big thing was the free kick. He got 3 great points in play, but the free kick that he scored, he told Cluxon, stay where you are, I'm taking this free, kicked to his left foot, and that was a big score to draw the match level. So they're the 3 nominees.
Okay, there was a lot of debate, it's fair to say, about it. You made the case. Make the case for Colm Cooper.
I just think, you know, it was very close. You know, we had a serious debate about this one, but, you know, Martin mentioned it there. Colm Cooper gave an exhibition of football in the first half, and it's, you know, there's no coincidence that we keep mentioning his name, because he is pure and utter class. I mean, the passes for the 2 goals, I mean, they opened up Dublin. They drew 2 players onto him every time he was being watched, and he still had, you know, the vision to be able to make that pass. The best players create time and space on the ball, and he's one of them, you know. So it was very close, but, you know, Michael Dara as well was another player that countless time and time again drove forward. And remember that last point, there was 3 Kerry players around him for the goal. He was running backwards. The ball was going over his head, and he still had the energy and drive. He gave it everything, and as a manager, they're the type of players you want to see. Knocked it into Kevin McMenamin, and that was the goal.
You were a big fan of Jeremy Connolly's performance. Yeah,
Jeremy Connolly, I typically criticise Jeremy Connolly earlier in the year for his work rate and that he wasn't doing enough work up and down the field. Today, particularly in the second half, he was absolutely exceptional in the second half. The amount of ball he won, the use of ball when he was in possession, the scores that he got, I think he got 3 points from playing, and he scored that free kick that we spoke about with his left foot. You know, he's beautifully balanced off both feet. and even with a half a yard he can score off both feet. You know, he was strong, he was aggressive in the tackle, and as I said, the second half he dragged that Dublin team through for large parts of that second half.
All right then, so it was really difficult. Who gets the award?
Look, in the end, a very close call, but we gave it to Diarmuid Connolly.
All right then, so congratulations to the man from St. Vincent's. Let's hear from him.
Diarmuid, congratulations. An incredible afternoon at Croke Park, and Dublin are back in the All-Ireland final. What's that like?
Yeah, it feels special, all right. Yeah, it's a lot of hard work over the last couple of years to get back here. So, it does. It feels great. Like,
I was in the mix there, I suppose, right up until the final few minutes. How confident were you?
Yeah, this Dublin team lives on confidence.